Welcome to Grow as We Grow. This is my perk membership series where members can send in video questions or short tours of their garden. Now right now most of us are cleaning up our gardens, putting them to bed for the winter. I'm in Maryland Zone 7. Some of us are starting seeds indoors, that's what I'm doing now, and some of us are growing in greenhouses. Grow as We Grow is a great little series that really will give you some ideas of what you can do in your garden. People send videos in from all over the US. Hopefully we'll start sending in, or I'll start getting videos globally from around the world. But it's pretty cool, and you're going to find lots of ideas that you can apply to your garden. So I am starting seeds indoors. Again, I'm in Maryland Zone 7. A lot of these have been started early for videos so that I can teach people how to grow, vegetables indoors, herbs, flowers, etc. One of the things that I'm doing is growing peppers really early, and these are a little bit weak. Like you can see all this green growth. If you take your hand every day and you start just moving across, that will help toughen up your tomatoes, your pepper seedlings, so that they are much stronger. I actually broke off a couple of these tops accidentally, just moving them down from these upper tiers. Started some sweet potatoes. If you haven't grown sweet potatoes before, you want to get them started a good 12 weeks, minimum 16 weeks before they're going to go out into your garden. Other things that are growing again in different size containers. And Eileen sent in a very short video showing you what she's doing in her garden. And she's growing in oversized containers, which is a benefit in that you're not going to have to pot up your plants. You even have some tomatoes growing, going to be growing tiny Tims indoors, my cool weather crops, and then a couple more flats up there. And I always start my flats up top, lights are closer, work my way down. I use books to raise the flats, have lights that are up higher for bigger plants, etc. But here's Eileen's garden. Take a look at what she's doing.
These seeds have been growing since November 30th. Swiss chard, spinach, parsley, trying to grow some artichokes. Here's some cilantro. And rainbow Swiss chard. Look, one artichoke.
Aileen has a lot of plants started in that small space. She's going to save a lot of money. Highly recommend starting seeds indoors. It's going to save you a couple $100s once you get started. Frozen. The ice is here. These are my seed starts, or actually not seed starts. These are divisions that I did outside. Got them established in the larger containers. I'm going to take these into my greenhouse. I want to show you that. We're also going to get to Gail's garden. She did a really nice 5-minute video on considerations for bringing electricity into your greenhouse. I recommend watching that whole video, especially if you're thinking about building a larger greenhouse, which I admit I'm jealous of that greenhouse. It's beautiful. Here's my little guy. But that video will really give you some ideas on how you want to set up the outlets. So the temperatures are dropping now. All of my seed starts have not had any heat. All the different herbs, I've showed you those in different videos, and I'm really getting these ready for a sale. But I want the temperature now at night to be 45, 50 degrees so that everything that you see here gets growing, gets established, and come April, when I start selling, I'm going to have really nice herbs. I'm using a basic BioGreen heater. I'm not affiliated with them, but I will put links to them. It's beautiful, 120 square feet. It's going to heat, which this is not, so it's going to stay nice and warm in here. What I just wanted to show you, what I recommend, is really getting a thermostat. So I can use this thermostat with this heater. You can use that with any heater, and it will regulate when the heater comes on. It also can be used to turn on fans in the summer, so it's not just a thermostat for regulating when it gets cold enough for the heater to kick on. You can also use it to kick on your fan if you're going to be growing through the summer. And unlike Gail's garden, or Gail's greenhouse, I don't have any electricity coming out here. So I am going to be running the cord all the way to this greenhouse, which is fine. I have it all set up. It'll be good to go. But take a look at her greenhouse and what she's doing.
Hey everybody, it's Gail from Two Gals in Vermont. Today I wanted to show you how we brought electricity into the greenhouse and some things we considered before we even started digging in and putting in plugs. So I'll show you a couple things, and if you're going to consider bringing some electricity into your greenhouse, this is what we did, and hopefully it'll give you some tips. One of the first things we considered was, how are we going to get the power from the house to the greenhouse? It's not very far. It's a little over 100 feet, so it wasn't too bad. What we did is we put an ad in our local newspaper, online newspaper, and said, hey, anybody know an excavator? And lo and behold, our friend just down the street has a little excavator, and he came and dug the trench. So we dug a 2-foot trench all the way across the drive and up to the greenhouse. Mission completed, number 1. The next thing we considered was, what are we going to do with the greenhouse? What do we want to accomplish out here? What work do we want to do? Do we want to do seedlings? Do we want to just overwinter things? What is it that we want to do? And what we decided was we were going to prepare for whatever we wanted to do. I will be starting seedlings and also overwintering some things. We have 2 benches. They're a little bit over 6 feet long, and they will fit both of them on one side together, but for right now what we did is separate them. So I sat in the middle of the greenhouse and said, okay, if I'm going to be starting seedlings, what do I need? I might need heat mats, I might need lights, we might need of course a heater, because it does get cold in here. We looked at all the options, and this is what we decided to do. Each side of the greenhouse has 3 outlets. One kind of in the middle and one on the end. And that is so I don't have to run extension cords or anything for lights. I don't have to use extension cords for anything that has to do with seedlings on the bench. So that was really important. No extension cords and flexibility. So this is the other side of the greenhouse where we have the 3. Then we have this high-powered fan. Now we're definitely going to need that for the summer. So we made sure we had a plug up there close for the fan in the summer to get the hot air out and cooler air in. That's run by a separate light switch. So we sketched that out. The other thing we were thinking about is, do we want to put a light or have lights in the greenhouse? Of course, we have short days, and if I'm going to be working out here, we might want to have a light. So we put a socket in up here, and also we have a light bulb or whatever fixture. We don't have it yet. We're looking for the right thing to do, but it's there. So we kind of planned for every possibility that we could think of. Also, like right now, we have a little space heater, and this little space heater, it's not optimal, but it keeps the greenhouse about 20 degrees warmer than it is outside. So that's been effective. We do have a formal greenhouse heater coming, and that'll be able to heat and keep the greenhouse warm. We're thinking probably 50 degrees, 55 degrees will be optimal for lots of things. So that's why I might need the heat mats and such. So we can move both of our benches together. We can keep them separate. So we have that flexibility to do that. The other thing we did, which we're studying and keeping track of, we have a little thermometer here, and there's one on the other side where we keep track of the temperature inside the greenhouse. This one is Bluetooth, so we can monitor from the house, which I thought was kind of nifty. So that's the story of the electricity in the greenhouse. You really have to, A, think about what you want to use your greenhouse for, Is electricity necessary? We didn't want to be running extension cords from the house. And then what are the various ways you might consider using it? So we wired up for any possibility. The other thing I'd like to mention is that our good friend Oliver is a beginning electrician, and Lee is also an electrician. So together they worked on the plan. Oliver put all of the plugs and everything in. So we really kind of did it on a budget. Our neighbor would not take any compensation for doing the trench up to the greenhouse, and really that job was done in about 2 hours. Dug the hole, put the pipe in, covered up the hole, and it was done. So before you do anything, think about what it is you want to use your greenhouse for. What are the possibilities in the future? Of course, we're just starting out with the greenhouse. I have some things in the GreenStalk that I'm starting to propagate over here. And I have another one, which I'll keep on building on as the seedlings come up. But all in all, it's been a good exercise. We've enjoyed it, and we're really, really happy with the flexibility that we have built in to our workstations. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a little bit about things to consider when doing a greenhouse and bringing electricity to it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Again, cheers to your greenhouse, Gail. And what I like about this series, it's really about ideas. Instead of saying, you know, my garden over and over again, which I appreciate, you really get to see how people are incorporating different ideas into their garden. And when we get to Nikki's garden, she is just composting in so many different ways, created a greenhouse, insulated. She's using trash cans filled with water to help regulate the heat while she overwinters some plants. And she just has a lot of construction set up, which I think you'll find interesting and be able to use in your garden. My garden is pretty much asleep. I've got some stuff growing, and I've been saying, you know, I'm working for 2024, Happy New Year's by the way, to really grow what I can consume or give away. So I'm really going to be changing up my garden in here. I just put in a fruit tree. We're coming up to that. I still have some broccoli and stuff growing. Crazy growing arugula. If you want a hardy, cold hardy plant that can take freezes and frosts and loves to grow, it's arugula. You can see it right there. I've put in a fruit tree, and I may bring in a couple more. It's a dwarf tree. It's going to be used for trellising beans or cucumbers. I put cucumbers right up that cattle panel. So what I'm thinking for me is really kind of adding more of an edible landscape piece to this with trees inside my main garden. I have plenty of boxes for all the vegetables and stuff like that, but I really want to just kind of create, you know, a peaceful place with all kinds of different things to look at and to enjoy. Massive trellis, you know, I just felt like I had to build something like this. I have a whole video on this if you want to check out my channel. But I'm going to be growing melons up here, securing them with just sacks for the heavier melons. Whenever you're growing something heavier, you have to secure the fruit or it's going to fall off the vine. But this is just massive, but it's going to give me so much room to grow vertically that I'm going to be able to add in those fruit trees, add in pumpkins and melons, and still get a lot out of this space. So I'm not going to be really sacrificing a whole lot. I'm just, you know, creating these structures in different ways so that I can grow more. Let's take a look at Nikki's garden. She's pretty much put her kind of garden to rest, although she's growing a lot of brassicas, but you're going to get a lot of ideas out of her garden.
Okay, so welcome back to Nikki's Garden of Eden. Every garden should have at least one dog. I have two, Meat, Fetty, and Naui. Okay, so right now I'm in the middle of my winter cleanup. I've been cleaning out my grow bags, putting the dirt in the different containers, and I'm planning to replenish it, fertilize it, you know, put them to bed for the winter. This is a container of leaves I'm making for compost. I've also been creating these little mini hoop houses to keep my winter brassicas in it. You can look in there and see some beets and my different brassicas. I'm in the process of pulling up my potatoes that I've grown. And this is the horseradishes, which I'm gonna leave out for the winter. This is one of the things that I did. So I put this plastic on it, but under the plastic, I have the netting so that when the spring comes, I can just pull the plastic off. They're put on with clamps. I can just take the clamps off, pull the plastic off, and then they're already ready for spring. This is my greenhouse, which I have winterized now. Oh, and if you can see, I've added the roof now. So the roof is up there. And not only that, I've added this thermal insulation to it to keep it warm during the winter. And I brought all of my plants, my trees, my baby trees in here. I've also brought my water barrels in, 45-gallon water barrels, and lined the wall up to keep some heat in here. So these are my winter things. Oh, and then in here I have, this is actually a worm compost. I have different kinds of composts going on just to see which one will turn out the best. So it's all, I have this reflective insulation going all around no, not all around. I have it on the north side, the east side, and the west side, not the south side, and not the ceiling. I also have it in the floor. I have it covering the floor, and then I put this artificial grass on top. Okay. So on this side I have more hoop houses, more mini hoop house structures. I have my garlic growing in there. Lots of garlic. And I strapped the hoop houses down with these bungee cords. These are more brassicas. You can see them, the condensation. And they're in there. Say hi. Yeah. And over here, now we have Hetty go play. Under here, I built these hoop house structures. I didn't put the netting or the plastic on them yet, but they're going to be for my swimming pools, which I plan to grow watermelons, corn, carrots, big things in here. So right now I have the leaf mold. There's two right here, but I'm growing. I have the leaf mold compost up under here, doing its thing for the spring. And I had cut down on my trees so that I could grow my own trees, my own fruit trees. So what I did was I went to my neighbors and I collected their leaves. So I have about 8 bags of these around the yard to grow, to make my own compost. And then in here, this is my alfalfa and wood pellets, which is compost. Looks like a big, huge brownie. Yeah, so that's that. I think my question to Gary is right now, so I'm getting ready to, I also bought a shredder to shred the leaves and shred branches. Now these are my lilies. I was wondering if it was okay for me to compost this when I'm going to use it for food. And these are lilies. And the different, some of those flowers are edible, but I was wondering if I should keep them separate. Yeah, so that's my question. And that's all I have. Thanks.
One of the things I want to give Nikki credit for is composting. She's composting in containers and in different ways. And I understand if you don't have a lot of space, I have space so you can see, all the compost I have going. It makes a huge difference. It saves you money. You don't have to buy organic fertilizers, any kind of fertilizers really. Maybe a water soluble, that's always good to have, but you don't need the granular fertilizers. Compost goes a long way. But she doesn't have a lot of space, but she's still composting. So I recommend following some of her ideas. What I wanted to show you, she showed you a quick bin of the alfalfa and wood pellets. That's something that I do. You can take wood pellets for wood burning stoves, the alfalfa pellets that I use for fertilizers. Another garden here, going to be designed a little bit differently. come, you know, the spring of 2024. Let's go through my muscadines. And I have compost tumblers out here. And I did this more for, there's the wood pellets, by the way. Just any wood pellet, it's on sale. Shouldn't have any additives or chemicals to it. It's usually just pressed wood pellets. It makes this beautiful compost. This is what her stuff is going to look like. This is still going. It's cooled down a little bit. This is, I don't know, this might be 3 months old or something like that. But this is a year old. The same stuff. This all get used up this year, and it breaks down into this beautiful compost. Awesome for containers. And this is just, again, wood pellets and alfalfa pellets. Thanks so much for watching Grow as We Grow. Hope you found some inspiration from the members' videos. And if you are a perk member, you can send me short video questions. Oh, there was a question too. Almost forgot, Nikki. You asked me about putting lily, basically old lilies, into your compost pile. Lilies are toxic if you eat the flowers and stuff like that, but you can compost them. Once something is composted, the plant breaks down, the chemicals break down. You can certainly use it in your garden, so don't worry about that. And again, let's start over. If you are a perk member, just send me short video questions, tours of your garden, and I will put them into the Grow as We Grow series. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com, and if you're interested in that heater, I will link it in the video. Thanks for watching.